Here we go, guys. Chapter 170 of One Punch Man is finally here. I know we got a little bit of a delay earlier today where it got delayed 12 hours to kind of have the chapter come along with the announcement of season 3, but now we finally have the ending of the Monster Association arc, aka Garou's arc, with this chapter. So let's just get right into it. So the chapter starts off with Garou now, obviously not having his Cosmic Fear Garou shell or even having his red hair from his various transformations that he had during the Monster Association arc. We see him sitting at a table looking very serious, and we suddenly see him start to erupt and argue with this man sitting at a table, which at first I assumed was like a job searching place, because for those of you who have read the webcomic, we know that eventually Garou just starts, job hunting and becomes Job Hunter Garou and tries to put the evil life behind him. But after we see him arguing with this man, we see Bang actually punch him in the back of the head and force him to bow in front of the man outside of the police station. So it is a police officer. So right after this, we see that Bang and Garou start walking down the street, kind of casually walking along and talking. We don't know exactly what it is that they're saying right now because we don't have any English translations yet, but I can only assume it's kind of like Bang talking about how he should feel guilty about what he's done and that Garou has a long way ahead of him to kind of make up for everything that he's done. Because we see what I can assume is some kind of flashback that Bang has going back to when he first found Garou, because we saw that in chapter 169 when nobody was noticing, Garou just totally pieced out of there without anybody but Saitama noticing which direction he went. And in this panel, we see that Garou is actually meditating under this waterfall. And for those of you who are webcomic readers, this is very reminiscent of when King kind of stumbled across Garou doing this in the webcomic. And, we're kind of seeing this a lot earlier on because we see right now that Garou is meditating under this waterfall, and we see that Bang comes across him. And we can only assume that, maybe Bang knew that he would be here because of, a specific reason. And he kind of talked him into maybe turning himself into the police or kind of just start taking steps towards the right path. So we continue to see this back and forth between Garou and Bang walking down the street, and we see that Garou starts to think about the moment that he got punched right in the face by Saitama, and we see that the figure has a question mark on it, so Garou obviously doesn't know that it's Saitama from the future that came back to give him a good one in the face. So I know in my last chapter review, I was kind of hoping that Garou would kind of maybe have merged with that ghost version of himself that we see in chapter 169 and gain some of the memories back, maybe faint memories that feel like a dream or something like that, so he can have some of his character development that he developed in that future timeline kind of come back to him. But hey, we can't have it all. That's totally fine. I'm just glad to see that, Garou is seemingly in a better place right now, seemingly not so full of rage and hate at the moment. So we cut over to this park where we see Terrio playing with some kids, and I'm not exactly sure what game it is that they are playing, but it ends up with them just stomping Terrio out and bullying him seemingly. But we see that Terrio gets back up and takes this stance, probably trying to mimic Garou, and seems happy, seems like he's not scared or intimidated. So we could definitely see that he's taken something from Garou. He's kind of learned a lesson from him to, stand up for himself and be a little tougher. But these kids get interrupted by a car pulling up that is revealed to actually be Waganma's dad's vehicle, as we see that Waganma comes out to greet Terrio, who are now seemingly friends. And we see that these kids are kind of jealous of Terrio having this rich friend. And we also see that Waganma actually got that, mechanical arm backpack that we see Child Emperor have. So I think that was kind of cool. He kind of, seems to be looking up to Child Emperor now and isn't so much of the rotten kid that we saw in the Monster Association arc. So it quickly switches back to Bang and Garou talking, probably maybe mentioning something about Terrio and recapping other events and, possible other ramifications of everything that's happened, because we switch right to the Hero Association where we see Sitch and Sekingar discussing something probably pertaining to Garou and maybe what some of the ramifications are of all of the destruction that was caused and all of the negative press they're probably about to get from all this collateral damage and seemingly, failed attempt to destroy the monsters while also not putting other people at risk. Now, as we go through a few more panels of, Garou and Bang still walking down the street, maybe discussing what's yet to come for Garou, potentially, finally getting a job and working his way towards being a hero and saving people like Bang wanted him to. For the last panel, we actually get a really funny panel of Genos and Saitama kind of sifting through the rubble of the battlefield, looking for remnants of Saitama's apartment. And we see that Genos finds like a little bit of something. I don't know what the heck that is, but obviously it made Saitama very happy because he puts on this big old smile, and that's where the chapter ends. So obviously not an action-packed one like what we've been used to lately, and you know, obviously a pretty short one comparatively, but I just thought it was a very nice way to wrap up the entire arc and bring the official end to the Monster Association arc, and might actually be the last time that we see Garou for quite some time. Now, I don't know if the manga is going to take a little break before it starts going into, you know, the future arcs that are coming, if we're assuming they're based off the webcomic, or if we're just going to dive right into things and kind of just hop right into the whole, you know, living situation that, you know, Saitama might now find himself in. And hopefully we get a reveal of possibly some survivors, you know, some monster survivors of this whole thing, because I don't want to spoil too much if you guys haven't read the webcomic, but there are monsters that do survive that we see seemingly get killed in this arc, and also high-ranking ones. So I don't know, what do you guys think about this chapter? Are you guys ready for some, you know, more low-key, more conversational chapters to come, or are you just kind of hoping that we get some more action in the very next chapter? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I'll also be making a video for the English translations as soon as they come out. So please make sure to subscribe and turn notifications on so you don't miss it as soon as I put that video out. I make sure to get One Punch Man chapter reviews out within a few hours of the chapter coming out, so you'll definitely be covered here. But until the next video, guys, I'll see you later.